5e Frontier. We're back after our second break of the evening, and we're ready to jump right back into the action, I think. So we, when we left our party, they'd just been visited by an enormous white ape. It healed Zitaya's injury and then left, refusing to elaborate. And you guys decided that you didn't want to antagonize it, shall we say. So it just went about its business and left. And you guys have moved to find that brook that Zitai found to see if you can find any larger game. Like at the brook, maybe going for a drink that you could bring back to feed the Yoruba. So, heading up the stream, do you guys have any special actions you're taking? Any special considerations, or is it just you're moving steadily and stealthily up the river with weapons ready?
I think that seems about right for me. I'll be following Rory's lead with the survival expert status. So,
Yeah.
just quietly.
I guess my main lookout thing is looking for some actual game tracks, like large enough to actually bother with.
Sure. Give me a survival check.
Okay. So that is a 17.
Nice. So the four of you stalk along the banks of this brook. You're going for about 10 minutes. When I think Rewi, leading the group, would spot in the mud next to the brook. You can see a number of footprints going down to the edge of the water in the fresh mud. They're very well defined. These footprints, so they're clearly fresh. Looking at them, they are clawed feet with three fingers and a toe directly behind them. They're bird-like or dinosaur-like feet. These feet, and based on how the claw is angled, it looks like they're more likely to be herbivores than carnivores. These creatures, these claws are designed for gripping onto things, rather like gripping onto the ground rather than prey items, shall we say. But it seems that there was a group of these things here no more than half an hour ago. Based on the depth of the footprints, they weighed perhaps 50 kilograms each, so about as much as a deer.
Oh, nice. Get 5 of those, and then we'll get some for the Aruba.
Yeah, so it looks like they went back into the jungle. Are you gonna try and track them?
Yes, certainly. I'm going to track them. So I'll point it out, the tracks to the others, just so they're aware what we're following. And then I'll be using hushed tones to go, we'll go stalk them, but be quiet. Zitai at the back.
Sure.
Okay.
So yeah, I think we'll carry your survival check forward, so you'll have a 17 on that. Can you give me a stealth check? We'll go off Rowi's stealth because he's at the front.
Nice. Naturally stealthy. It's loading. Still loading.
It's the one off the beginning.
No. It's literally just taking roll 'em. Plenty of time. I'll type it again.
No worries. Just use physical dice if it's not working.
Yeah, so that's a 23.
23. So yeah, you creep forwards very, very quietly, but at reasonable pace. This is exactly you've been raised to do from an early age as a Tavali hunter. Stalking through the undergrowth. What is your passive perception?
My passive perception is a 17.
Okay. So as you're moving through the undergrowth, the others a little way behind you. You would note that you very occasionally you see flashes of movement in the canopy above you. Occasionally you'd hear a bird hoot, and another one like goes on your right, and another one would hoot a little way off to your left. Um, what you're hearing is very characteristically a group of people essentially signaling each other with bird calls. You'd be aware that that's something that you obviously you don't do that on Tavali, but you like liaising with other survivalists and hunters from throughout the members of the exploration corps. Like you'd be aware that this is a common strategy employed on a lot of worlds.
So I guess I could see it rise on the back of this that the natives of this isle are herding whatever food towards the camp anyway. Are we heading towards the camp?
No, not especially. You were when you were following the brook, but these guys have headed north. So you're kind of going in the opposite direction to the camp.
Okay. I'll keep on it then. We might be able to meet the other tribe early. But I'll keep a note kind of thing of what's happening so I can keep an eye on where the groups are because obviously they haven't spotted us yet.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll keep an eye on the canopy at the same time. I'll also let the others know so we're not surprised if they do suddenly attack.
Sure. So yeah, you let the others know that there might be somebody in the canopy watching you. A few minutes after you make this observation, you suddenly, as you like round the corner of a particularly large tree, suddenly you find that the people following you were very obvious in the trees now. They've decided to reveal themselves, it seems. There's perhaps 20 of them. They're all clinging on to branches above you. These people, and they are people, you can see that they're carrying tools with them. They're very small. If they were to stand upright, then they'd be perhaps 4.5, 5 feet tall. And they're quite scrawny. There's not like there's not a lot to them, though. By the look of it, they're quite like wiry. So even though they're quite small and scrawny, you imagine they're probably stronger than they look. But they're still quite small. They're quite furry, these creatures, particularly around the sides of the head and the shoulders. They've got that kind of like this long grey fur that kind of sticks upwards. It doesn't like lie flat. It sticks upwards and gets thinner and thinner, and it almost like fades into just thin air. That the hair gets very, very thin at the end. Their faces are long and kind of like heart shaped, with the hair like coming over the top of their heads and a little way down their forehead in the middle. And as when you see some of them open their mouths occasionally, you can see long teeth in the front. Their eyes are positioned at the fronts of their heads, so they're clearly predators biologically speaking, or at least omnivores. They're dressed. They don't really wear clothes by the look of it, but they are carrying. Some of them are carrying like satchels and bags and things. They wear them like either on their backs or like at their side, like messenger bag style things. Though when they do, there's a secondary strap that goes around the waist to stop it flailing around when they're moving through the canopies. You would also note that they are all like they've all got stone knives on their belts. Some of them have metal knives, either of a similar sort of construction as you saw the sea people have, where they have bones of the earth or adamantine, as you'd know it, flakes embedded in a wooden handle, or perhaps a bone knife here and there as well. But they seem to be more like tools than weapons by the look of it, just because of the way they're set up. The weapon that they're all carrying are blowguns. Their blowguns are long, perhaps half as tall, maybe a little more than they are, so about 3 feet long. These blowguns, with kind of like a well developed and quite complex looking mouthpiece. So it looks like you could probably get quite a good seal around it, and if you could, if you had good strong lungs, you'd be able to, put quite a lot of force behind a dart that comes out of one of these things. They seem to be quite high, like caliber, I guess, is perhaps the right word for a blowgun. They're quite high caliber, perhaps a centimeter and a half in diameter. So they're quite substantial by the look of it. And they all seem to be carrying like little small pouches, kind of on like bandoliers around their chests, presumably where they keep the ammunition for these blowguns. They either seem to be carrying the blowguns in like one hand, or some of the blowguns have like a piece of string attached to them so they can put it over their back. They seem quite substantial. These blowguns, they're made of carved wood by the look of it. So they can clearly take, the odd knock here or there as they're moving through the trees. One like these people also have prehensile tails as well. So they're using their tails to help them grip onto branches and things. And looking at their feet, it seems that their feet are set up like hands. So their feet can they grip onto branches. It's looked by the look of it, they probably could walk on a flat surface, but it wouldn't be comfortable for them. It'd be a bit awkward. Like they'd be crawling on all fours if they were to move along the ground. They're much better adapted to moving in the trees by the look of it. One of them kind of moves forwards. He kind of moves to the end of a branch where the branch gets quite thin and whippy, and under his weight, it kind of sags down almost to your level, as he's kind of perched on the end of it, leaning forwards. He's got his blowgun in one hand, but it's held behind him, as he kind of leans forwards to get a better look at you guys. Even though he is much smaller than you, he's slightly above you just because of his vantage point. And just the confidence that he's holding himself with kind of almost makes you forget the fact that he's so much smaller than you. He kind of narrows his eyes and appraises the group of you for a few seconds. He says, so which one of you was it that set fire to my forest?
Yeah, I'll step forward, I think, and say, well, it was an accident, if that helps, and we did our best to put it out, so it shouldn't spread.
It doesn't. The fact that it's an accident doesn't help the forest.
No, but I can assure you that we have done our best to make sure that it doesn't spread. It should simmer down in an hour at most.
He nods and says, What tribe are you from? Your manner of speech and your clothing is unfamiliar to me.
Um, we are from quite far away. We are currently traveling with the Yoruba, though.
Yes. I had word that a party of theirs was coming.
Yes. They didn't seem to know which tribe we were from either, so it seems like we are from far enough away that the tribes of this land don't know us.
He cocks his head and he leans back a little. He spins like the blowgun in his hand. And then he kind of like puts the tip of it in his mouth and kind of like absent-mindedly chews it a little. Um, not like the actual the business end of it, not the mouthpiece end of it. Looking at it, it's a little bit ratty. The end of his blowgun. It seems that he does this a lot. Um, he kind of gnaws on the end of it, and then he says, "Well, there's nothing beyond the island, so you can't be from beyond the island. So that means either you're from somewhere that's hidden on the island, that nobody's been to or nobody has been turned from, more accurately, or you're some kind of pretender tribe, some new tribe."
The only information I can give you is tribe is scattered at this time, and we're currently looking for the rest of that tribe.
Hmm.
Um, so our main goal here is to speak to as many tribes as we can and see if they've found any of our people. They would speak and dress similarly to us.
He thinks for a moment and he says, "I haven't seen any of any people anything like you. Um, though I have been away from the villages for a number of weeks, so perhaps word has been heard there."
Okay. Um, we our goal. I forget the name of the people that we're traveling to go see.
Malik.
Yep. We are currently traveling to see the Malik people. We have word that their healers could help us, and perhaps they hold some information on our people as well.
They are renowned for their skills in the healing arts, so you're clearly going to the right place.
That is good to hear. I hope it's okay for me wandering through the forest like this. We were told to go acquire food for the Yoruba. Um, they were the ones rowing us all the way here, after all.
The bounty of the forest is endless, of course. You are entitled to all you can. You're entitled to all you can gather.
That's good to hear. I'm unsure exactly on each tribe's views on their land, but we'll do our best to not light any more fires.
He thinks for a few moments, and he says, "Interesting use of the possessive. I suppose you're from one of those tribes that thinks you can own land."
It is something that I know some tribes can do.
Well, that's a difference of opinion between the two of us then. But Forgive me, you're guests in our home. I have not introduced myself. He steps further forwards on the branch, causing it to dip even further. He holds onto it with his tail and kind of lowers himself down properly to your level. His tail seems quite strong. It's able to support his whole weight with him being kind of like upright almost. Um, he he says, "I am Gok."
And I am Garrick.
He he kind of he puts his hands across his chest and like lowers his head.
Yeah, I'll mimic him.
Yeah. Um, then he takes a step back, causing the branch to raise a little as he's further away from the pivot point. As he's closer to the pivot point, sorry. Um, he says, "Well, if you're with the Yoruba, I suppose we will see you there. We're going there now. I don't suppose that you'd like to come with us, or
That's a good idea.
or are you going to be rampaging through our forest anymore?"
I'll kind of look back towards the group and whisper, "We don't really have any food to give the Yoruba."
As you say that, he says, "Not you," and points at Rewi. "You weren't rampaging."
I thought someone like, yeah. Oh, as he's like spoken to me, I'll turn around and go. So we were right or wrong not to kill the big white gorilla thing?
He he kind of looks at you quizzically, and he says, "Ah, you've seen one of the wardens then?"
Yes, it was kind, so we weren't sure if it was prey.
"Well, if you wanted to make it prey, I suppose you're welcome to try."
Oh, right. Okay. So we did the right thing not to. Thank you. I wasn't sure.
We had a sneaking suspicion that it'd end badly for us.
Yes. Oh, before we go on, since you're not Yoruba and you're passing through, I suppose it would be customary to collect your gift now.
Shit.
Yes. Perhaps I could offer you some of our tribe's healing poultices and equipment in that regard. I'll like pull a few things out of my medicine kit and just offer it him.
Yeah. What are you pulling out? What does it look like?
I guess like some sort of like paste that you'd like rub on cuts, like I something equivalent to that. And like some actual clean like linen bandages.
He he takes the bandages, like turns it over in his hand, and he says, "This is a bandage, you say?"
Yes, if kept incredibly clean, it can stop any infections or further inflammation of the
He's
wound it's wrapped around.
he's already not listening to you. He's wrapping it around his neck like a scarf.
Yep, that's fine.
It's actually made of very, very high quality fabric, much higher quality than anything you've seen produced on this planet.
That's why I thought it'd be a good gift.
Yeah, he pulls it. It's very stretchy, isn't it?
Yes, yes. It's designed to be wrapped tightly around an object, your arm or a cut, to stop bleeding.
It'll get dirty then.
Yes, yes. They can be somewhat cleaned, usually within some boiling water. But it's not recommended to
It's in
reuse.
the river.
The hot water helps remove the further stains to
He,
this material.
he kind of looks at it. He says, "Yeah, it's very white, isn't it?"
Yes.
Um, Like he's kind of like stretching it out. He cuts like a couple of holes in it and puts his arms through them. He's experimenting with it as you're watching him. The others all seem very interested in this as well. He says, "Do you have any more?"
Um, I only have one more. And I'll hand it.
Yeah, he takes it and says, "Thank you. I was going to offer a trade, but if you're giving, I won't. I certainly won't turn it down."
Um, call it an extra bit of gift. You've given us a lot of information yourself.
He he lowers his head, like does one arm across his chest. Says, "Well, thank you very much. Now we'll go and we're going to go to see the Yoruba now. It's this way if you're coming."
Oh, what about food?
What about it?
Well, I saw the tracks for the birds coming this way. Are you herding them to the camp or
Oh no.
okay? Well, I think we'll continue to hunt them first.
Yes. They're a few hundred feet that way. We passed them on the way.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. With that, um, they head off in the direction of the Yoruba and leave you be. Though I think Rewi would notice as you move off. Occasionally, flashes of movement out the corner of your eye. It's likely that they've left one of them to keep an eye on you.
That's fair. But I think we'll continue out and about. I don't think I would mention it if I keep seeing them because I think if I mention it to the group, they're bound to hear that I've mentioned it to them. If that makes sense.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So I'll just kind of make sure everyone does the least damage to the forest as possible while hunting these creatures.
sure.
Zitai, completely oblivious to the fact that we're being trailed, on the other hand, is going, I'm glad they were nice. There were 20 of them. Those blowguns looked like they meant business. That would have been a really bad end to the day.
Yes. I'm glad the gift worked though. Although it's not replaceable at the moment.
No. It's a shame we had to give something so valuable, but they are such a nice tribe that I obviously deserve it.
And maybe without asking, we'll get something good in return.
But yeah, let's go get these big chickens.
Your only response is the wind in the trees. But yeah, you guys head on, following their directions. Um, we'll carry your checks from before forwards. I think you got like 25 or something on the stealth check, Simon.
23.
Yeah, 23. Yeah, so you continue along the directions you were given, and after maybe 5-10 minutes, you come across the object of your search. It is the creatures that you are following are indeed avian, though they seem to be flightless by the look of it. However, they do have very powerful legs by the look of it. These creatures are a lot like kiwis in that they're quite round, they're quite green, and their feathers are kind of very long and thin, so that if you don't look closely, they look kind of like fur. But like they're kind of bristly and long and thin. These feathers. There are four of them. and they seem to be kind of just like um, moving around in this clearing, like using their beaks to forage around in the undergrowth. Um, their legs, as I said, are quite sturdy, and like there's coiled muscles that run, corded muscles, sorry, that run up their length, and where their legs attach to their body, like their hips, are very large. Like they're very well developed, very powerful. Um, their necks are a little longer than a kiwi's, probably a little closer to like between somewhere between a kiwi and an ostrich in terms of length of neck to length of body ratio. Um, and they stand, floor to the top of their back. They stand maybe 5 feet tall.
Oh, okay.
They're quite substantial.
Overconfidently, I'll go to each of the team and point to a different one because there's four of them, there's four of us. Like we could definitely take them out each. Honest. And basically count down from 3 on my hand so everyone can see, so we attack at the same time. So they don't just suddenly run off. They all get like killed, so we can like collect them all.
Okay. I will ready my bow and await your countdown.
Sure. So are you all attacking a different one?
Sounds like it.
Okay. So however you plan on doing that, can you make one round of said attacks? Just make
Yeah,
attack rolls and damage rolls. They've got AC 12, so if you hit that, then roll your damage.
Are we hidden?
Yeah, you can have advantage.
So, I mean, I'm going to hit 2 creatures here because I can. Because I'm going to be twin spelling a chaos bolt.
Nice.
Um,
So obviously you're hitting your one, and what's the other one you're hitting?
I mean, who's using a blaster?
Is anybody using a blaster here?
no.
I'm just going to use a bow.
Okay.
In the
I'm
in
jump-
the in the spirit of ammo conservation and noise.
I'm jumping out of a tree with 2 obsidian daggers.
Okay.
Going full Rambo.
Yeah, I guess I'll target the same one as Calidus then with the second one if he's using a bow.
Sure.
Hopefully
Thank you.
we can bring it down. I mean, if I roll the same 2d8s on the damage dice as well, it does bounce again. So.
Oh, nice.
We shall see.
So, 2d20 drop the lowest one in it.
Yeah.
I believe you can use Tides of Chaos to get advantage on one of these if you want, Brad. You did have a Wild Magic Surge earlier this session.
Yes, yeah, I am hidden though, aren't I?
You
So
are,
do
yeah,
I get
you are.
advantage
Yeah.
anyway?
Yeah, you're getting advantage anyway. Very true.
Okay.
And they're going at the same time as well, right? So,
Yeah.
Right.
Get rid of that spell slot.
I got a 21.
Yeah, that'll hit. What about your other attack? You're dual wielding knives, right? So your bonus action attack.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think of that.
On a hit, the target.
Do I get
Alright.
advantage on the bonus action? I don't think
Yeah.
so, do I?
Yeah.
23 for me.
Okay, that'll hit. That is great. Smell.
Yeah, I got 2 25s, 2 19s on the dice.
A 14 for the second one.
Yeah, that'll hit.
10 damage.
Nice.
I got 9 damage on one and 14 on the other. We're making one cold and the other thunder damage.
Okay. Was the 9 or the 14 on George's one?
We'll do the second one to the 14.
Sure.
We'll do the first one on mine, the second one on George's.
1 minute. My crit range goes up.
Zitai, as all the attacks go off, just goes rage, runs in like fist swinging.
Sure. just punch them.
He doesn't carry a weapon. He punches harder.
It's no wild magic surge on this spell.
How do I add damage on the bonus action attack? I can never remember.
It's just the weapons damage die unless you've got the dual wielding feat.
Okay, I do not have that. 2d6 sneak attack damage. I think it's 3d6 actually at this level, isn't it?
Yes, you're level 5 now.
That's 21 damage.
Nice.
Against my one, I've done 27.
Okay, cool. So everybody you all variously cast your spells, shoot your bow, leap forwards into the clearing on these poor animals. I think Jord, the one you shot and also got hit by a spell, that one would like drop its neck having snapped. Simon, you would have landed like on the back of one, driving both your knives into the base of its neck, the sides like severing its spine. It also drops. Marat, yours. How much damage did you do in total?
27.
Yeah. With a swift uppercut into like its chest, like its rib cage just crumples. And like with the force of the blow and the low gravity, you kind of lift it off its feet with the blow.
Flightless bird, eh?
Yeah, the last one whose plumage was badly chilled by Garrick's spell survives. As it does so, it squawks in alarm. It drops down very, very low on one leg, and its other leg it has up, almost like it's threatening you with it. But then its other leg, it's the leg on the ground, like launches it upwards at great speed. And like as it moves upwards, it's almost moving like in a straight line. It's going so quickly, like compared to gravity. But it launches itself directly towards a branch above you, and as it does so, its other leg that it had in front of it reaches out way in front of it, reaching out to grab the branch, which it does, and then it launches itself forwards across to another branch. As it does, like you can see that it's like from the edges sides of its body, it does have like stubby little wings that it seems to be using for like attitude control as it executes these bounding leaps between branches. But it leaps up into the canopy and tries to make good on its escape. It only needs to run faster than the slowest of its companions, after all.
Would it have provoked an attack of opportunity because Zitai ran full tilt into the group?
Yeah, like you like I think probably not.
Okay.
Like they weren't like that close together. I think Zoe's in there as well, but like, I think that like that would have like they were pretty alert. Like it would be doing that at exactly the same time that you were laying into the others. You imagine that like if the others had survived, they'd be doing exactly the same thing at this moment.
With me riding one.
Are you letting it go, or are you going to try and chase it down?
I mean, how far away
Can I loose off an arrow as it?
Sure. Give me an attack roll.
Yeah, I don't think it's worth a dagger for me.
Yeah. Give me an attack roll, George.
Okay, I shall fire off the arrow. That's a 6. So it's a nat 1.
Yeah. So drawing the bow back, you loose the arrow. the arrow just hits against a tree branch that it was just leaping from. The head sticks in the branch, but the shaft of the arrow snaps as it's brought to a halt in a very hard object. The bird continues at great speed, considering the density of the environment it's moving through.
George, you're level 5 ranger, aren't you?
Mm.
You have an extra attack. You attack twice a round.
I could always fire off another arrow.
You've got enough time to knock another arrow and see if you can hit it.
With my second attempt, it's a 24, luckily.
Let's hit. Roll your damage.
Let's see if we can get this thing out of the air. That is a 10 again.
10. Okay, so I think that you aim your second arrow, breathing out just as it's about to go out of sight. You send the arrow shooting through the foliage. It hits the creature in the back. It doesn't kill it. It seems that it's that's not enough to stop it, but it does cause it to stumble, which means that when it gets to the next branch, it's maybe 3 or 4 feet lower than it should be, and it just slams into it. Like there's like a cracking sound as it does so, and it just like falls to the floor limp. It's probably just stunned, but it's going to be in place for enough time for somebody to go over there and slaughter it.
I think this is Zitai's moment. There's still movement, and it's not an ally.
Sure. Yeah, like you just go run over there and punch it out. You have these 4 creatures now.
Nice.
I'll automatically gut mine, like clean the meat, and then like tie its like head kind of around, kind of hold its head over my shoulder, and then like look around where everyone else is up to.
Yeah, like while Rowie was just like by reflex almost gutting the kill, what are the rest of you doing?
Picking it up by the legs and like holding the legs over the shoulder and coming back to the group.
Sure.
I think I'm just happy that I hit it on the second shot. In bewilderment that I managed to fire off a second shot as well.
Yeah, getting used to these low tech weapons.
Yeah.
Brad, what about Garrick? What's Garrick doing?
I'll just go over to the one of the ones that someone else killed, and pick it up.
Sure.
That's fair. That's fair. But yeah, I'll lead the group back to the camp from where we are, kind of thing. Happy that we've got a kill.
Yeah, you guys make your triumphant return after about 20 minutes or so. As you enter the camp, you can see that the Intaba, the monkey people, they are they're sitting on the branches that the Yoruba prepared for them. Like they're all kind of like they're like kind of like bunched in like there's one too many people sitting on a bench.
Yeah.
Like they're all kind of bunched up, but the atmosphere is cordial. You can see Gok seems to be discussing. He's having a conversation, which is only one-sided for you. He clearly understands the Yoruba language. Like he's having a conversation with one of the Yoruba, a female by the name of Wandering Winter. She's nominally like the leader of the expedition. And he seems to be, discussing what, they're essentially exchanging news with each other. It seems that the Yoruba have given them a set of bone beads that they've made from from bone and ivory. as kind of a token gift for the passage. And the beads are kind of like being distributed out among the monkeys. They don't seem to be making anything with them. They just kind of like them. They're shiny. They're cool. As you arrive with your 4 like large kills, the Yoruba all they all simultaneously let out a roar of approval that the food is here. And yeah, like you guys will be aware that the tradition now would be that everybody would just start eating, like no butchery, like no plucking of the birds. You just like rip into it with your mouth and your claws. You guys have got the small game though. The Yoruba probably aren't interested in that, but between the small game, like you guys would be getting proportionally about the same nourishment as all of the Yoruba will be getting from these 4.
Yeah.
Enough to spruce up.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, which was the objective ultimately.
Mm.
Running River would approach you guys as the meal is getting started, and he'd sit with you. He would again both speaking in the Yoruba language and writing out what he's saying on the hardened leather. He'd say, "Gok seems to have taken a liking to you all."
That'll be the gift.
It was a handsome gift you gave him.
Yes, he gave us a bit of information. We're still learning everything here.
Did he know anything about your tribe?
Unfortunately not. Although he said he did. He has been away from his settlement for a while.
Yes, Gok leads their border patrols. Typically, they can be away from their towns for a year or 2 at a time.
Okay. Well, I'm sure if we head this way on our way back, we'll might learn some more.
Yes. You could always visit their town. One of their towns. Their largest town is called Intaba. You could maybe ask around there. It's only a day or so out of our way, but if I was in your position, I probably wouldn't want any sort of delay.
Maybe on the way back.
If we have time on the way back, I think yes.
He nods and says, "We've only got another day, so the rest of today and tomorrow morning with the canoes before we reach the mouth of before the river becomes too small that we can't navigate it anymore. We'll be walking after that. But by the end of tomorrow, we should reach. We should reach. It's a town called Udaka. We're heading to. It's a trading town, an outpost more than a town really. But a lot of cultures meet there to trade, so you might be able to find the healing you need there."
Fingers crossed.
If a lot of cultures meet there, we might get some more news as well.
Yes, hopefully.
Like trying to mimic the gestures while he talks to Running River. Gok was trading news. Is there anything interesting happening in these parts?
He said, one of Gok's partners has had a litter.
Mazel tov.
But other than that, no, nothing out of the ordinary. It's They did note that the shooting stars, though if your claims are to be believed, that would be simply that they saw your spaceship crashing down from space.
Any of the shooting stars land nearby?
Um, they haven't found anything. Based on what you said, um, based on what you've said, their perspective is about the same as ours. So I don't think that any parts have landed near. They haven't landed any closer to here than they did to Yoruba.
Gok said there was only one island. Is that true? Just the one landmass?
Hmm. Gok says a lot of things with great declarative certainty that he probably shouldn't. There's while he is technically incorrect in that there are islands other than the one we're on, but none are nearly as large. They're kind of dotted around the coasts, as I understand it. There are stories, though I would call them more myths and legends, that there are other large land masses in the world, but nobody I have heard of has ever known about them or heard about them in anything again other than myth and legend. I think that the thinking rationally, I would think that they're probably it's just ocean. I think, but
Okay.
maybe the Malak people will know more. They're much more seafaring than we are.
Be good to know.
You know, that was the most diplomatic way I've ever heard it say that someone can be full of shit.
That's an interesting turn of phrase. I shall remember it.
No, your way was nicer. Your way was much nicer.
Yes,
I
I
think
think
it's best we.
yeah.
Sorry, carry on. Whenever.
He's not necessarily dishonest. He just overestimates his own abilities. I think.
I see. Like, internally, I just can't wait for it to be able to prove to everyone that spaceships are real.
Yeah. So
Confident assertions, you said.
yeah. So does anybody have anything that they wanna do? Do you want to interact with Gok and the Intarbans any further, or is it a case of getting back on the road, or more accurately, river?
I think back on the river for me. I'm happy to come back and visit them on the way back, and we're not harbouring parasites and in need of healing.
Sure.
Yeah, I guess all I'll be doing kind of thing this evening is harvesting as much venom from the spiders as possible.
Sure.
And yeah, just chit-chatting going, okay, so we nearly died by a guardian. A
Yeah.
warden, sorry, a warden.
Yeah. I think the Yoruba would listen to the story with interest. That it seems that like none of the Yoruba present have ever met anything like that. But they've heard stories that corroborate what you're saying. Like, um, there's sometimes those encounters. Occasionally, those encounters have been hostile based on what they say. But again, what the stories they tell you have the texture of folk tales more than historical accounts.
Makes sense. But I'm trying to be free with information I find out, so they become more free with information they find out.
Sure, that can happen. That's fine. What about Garrick?
Um, I wanted to see if Gok or a member of his group would trade me a blowpipe for more of my healer's kit.
Yeah. Yeah. Give me a persuasion check.
Okay. um, persuasion. Cool. Um, a 21.
Nice. So, yeah. So the healer's kit. I think we'll model this as you've traded one use of the healer's kit to Gok to get through. For another use of the healer's kit, you can obtain one of their blowguns and some darts to go with it. So the range of the blowgun functions just like a blowgun. With all the the normal rules of the blowgun. The interesting thing about it would be the darts. Um, so the darts are made of a particular, by the look of it, they're made of a particular kind of bone. They're about 2 inches long, these darts. And the bone that they're made of is both quite brittle and hollow. So it's clearly some kind of avian bone. But they fill the bone with some kind of venom by the look of it. And looking closely at it, it seems that the tip of the bone is also hollow. They've put some kind of material or epoxy over the end of the bone that gets pushed up the bone. It's almost exactly like a hypodermic dart from a dart gun. Just they've used much more primitive techniques to get to functionally the same result. Um, there are flights on the darts, like clusters of downy plumage on the back of them, so they're not like an arrow's flights. It's like a blowgun darts flights. Um, these blowgun darts, they will deal like you've got 20 of them, so enough for a couple of fights. But they deal 1d8 poison damage rather than physical damage.
Nice. Very
Okay.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And notably with this poison as well, and make sure you write this one down. Once you deal at least 20 damage with it, then the target that's taken the 20 damage has to make a Constitution save. That's DC 12. If they fail, then they're paralyzed until the start of their next turn, and they have to make that save every turn, regardless of whether they fail or succeed.
So I think I'm gonna turn this into a gift for Rowie.
Sure.
I'll find like a large leaf or something and wrap it up.
Oh,
And give it to Rowie. Like I'll come over and hand it over and go, well, I've managed to get something quite interesting, which I think with your talents you can make a decent use out of. I hope you
I'll
enjoy it.
look at it. Yeah, I'll look at it and be absolutely taken aback because it's an absolutely amazing gift. And yeah, blow darts from the dark. That's absolutely perfect. So
Cool. Well, with
you have to send me those notes.
Yes, yeah. I'll snip them into the
yeah,
Discord.
Sweet.
yeah, so gift given, I think that's a good place to call the session. We'll pick up next week, same time, 7:30 on a Monday morning, on a Monday evening. Monday morning at work. But yeah, we'll pick up next week with the adventurers finishing their travel to this trading post, and then we'll see what they find when they get there. So we've been the 5e Frontier. I've been Patrick Lynette, the GM for this game. Thank you all for coming. Your patronage is very much appreciated, and I hope we'll see you all next week. And if not, you can catch up with everything we've made so far on YouTube. Links in our channel page. I think it's called a channel page on Twitch. In any case, We've been the 5-Year Frontier. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.